right, guys, we're going to go ahead and look at the principles of experimental design. You need to know by name that those principles that you must include are, um, and here actually is the College Board criteria. Okay, comparing at least two groups, and one can be a control. So you can have that control. One needs to be some type of control, whether that's no treatment whatsoever or the existing treatment that is currently in use. Okay. All right. But then the rest, you need to make sure and I'm going to go actually in order that I have this in the song. Down here, you need to control any variables so that you just have one variable happening at a time between the treatment groups. Okay. We do not want a situation where we have the sun and then fertilizer on one tomato plant and then no sun and no fertilizer on the other tomato plants, okay? Because then you can't tell which is the cause. Confounding variables cloud the issue. You can't claim a cause. All right, so we want to control, we want to randomize. The rest, all the subjects will get randomly assigned to the treatment groups. We'll talk about specifically why that's so important here in a little bit. And then replication. This is when you're using more subjects than just one tomato plant or one person going to the type of surgery in our osteoarthritis example. Okay, so we'll take a look at this experience. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll play our SpongeBob experimental design song. It's a little redundant, but it gets the point across of how you need to know those qualities of the principles of experimental design. So here we go.
Make an experiment, what do you do?
Control, randomize, repeat.
Make an experiment, what do you do?
Control, randomize, repeat.
Make an experiment, what do you do?
Control, randomize, repeat.
Make an experiment, what do you do?
Control, randomize, repeat.
Randomly assigned to the treatment group so you can claim the cause and effect.
This video right here always cracks me up. That little part where he's doing the little flute. I literally sat there in front of the the TV screen recording that. Okay, we're talking some ghetto devices just to get it done. All right, so taking a look back at what we have. So there we have our control, randomize, repeat. So our first question is, what does the designer, what would the researcher, what do you have a responsibility to control? Okay. And so there's really two kinds of things. You are very aware and conscious of the types of subjects that you have and any qualities or traits that those subjects have. So you control that if possible. Okay. And then also you're making sure that you've got just one type of variable happening at a time, one change. Having one change only between treatment groups, not two or more. Okay. Next, how is the randomization done in experiments? Okay. So, first and foremost, the requirement that is absolutely necessary is random assignment to the treatment groups. Okay, so you're going to randomly assign to the treatment group so you can claim a cause and effect, and we'll talk about why that is down further in your notes. Now, in experiments, sometimes you have the luxury to do random selection. Okay, and that is not always, and that is not a requirement. But let's remember that if your subjects are the volunteers, which is what would happen, if they're human subjects in particular, okay? So if you have the human subjects, because you are imposing a treatment upon them, then they have volunteered. Therefore, they may not be like all of the humans with the particular qualities or whatever it is that they have. They may have more, maybe more motivated to do something, or maybe they are in worse shape and they have nothing to lose, so they're going to do that. Okay, so we just don't know, and we can't say that those are like the rest of the population, so we can generalize. No. However, remember that If we have the luxury to randomly select all of the tomato plants or randomly select the type of cloth that we're going to be experimenting on, okay, then that random selection from the population, then we could generalize to all those kinds of tomato plants or all that type of material, okay? All right. But random assignment is what is the requirement for experiments. Now, where does that repetition come into play with experiments? And that is that you're doing the experiment on multiple subjects, not just one piece of material or one tomato plant, multiple subjects at a time. All right, so now let's talk about this very, very important idea. This last two lines, you randomly assign to the treatment groups so you can claim the cause and effect. Okay, really important. So let's talk about what leads us down, like what is happening with that random assignment so that we have the right to claim that cause and effect. Okay, so here we go. So, first of all, we know that this random assignment means we put all the subjects into a big bag, shake well, and then we pull out randomly. So, I did not make judgment on who it is or what it is or what subjects that goes to this group and that group or all the treatment groups. Okay. So, by virtue of that, not having that judgment and randomness being employed in who goes to those, we are hoping to spread any unknown traits. So, all the characteristics of those subjects are spread evenly, and you have all kinds of subjects in all of the treatment groups. Okay? All of the subjects in all of the treatment groups is saying, oh, those subjects are similar. So, with the subjects being similar in those treatment groups, then that means, and here's the key, the only difference between the treatment groups is the treatment itself. Okay, so that's what's important there because if there ends up being a significant difference in the response. This group was significantly had better tomatoes and that kind of thing. And the only difference was the fertilizer, okay, than this group over here. If it had significantly better or whatever, we know the subjects were the same. So therefore, it has to be the fertilizer, that one treatment that was the difference. Okay. So that is why random assignment is what gives us the right to claim cause and effect. All right. So I hope that that explains your principles of experimental design, control, randomize, repeat, and the importance and necessity of random assignment.